Listen, they have beat me.
Oh my God.
The test of wills. They have.
Sure. You want me to start now?
I don't know why everyone's so mean to you. You guys got the timer up there?
Yeah.
You know, you can like restart,
All right,
right?
Cody, you ready?
15 dead seconds.
Take a look at everybody first.
In the 2000 presidential election, even though George Bush received 500,000 less votes than his opponent Al Gore, he still won the presidency. In the 2016 presidential election, even though Donald Trump got 3 million less votes than his opponent Hillary Clinton, he still won the presidency. This is all due to the Electoral College. Right now in our country, there are many arguments about whether the Electoral College remains effective or not. I assume we all know what the Electoral College is, but just as a refresher, that's how we elect our president. Each state selects a number of electors equal to the number of representation in Congress. Now, there's a lot of different variations on how states do this. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not really sure myself, but there's a lot of talking points on this. The two main arguments I'm going to talk about is representation of the population and calibration of the vote. So, one side of the argument says that the Electoral College does not represent everybody, especially minorities. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a member of the House of Representatives who is a Democrat from New York, said via her Instagram, "The Electoral College effectively weighs white voters over voters of color." This side claims that the Electoral College is not effective because it does not represent everybody in our country. On the other side of things, these people claim that it actually is effective because it actually helps to represent rural areas. So, Lori Elizabeth Marshall, who is an elector from Oklahoma, said in the article GOP elector site Rural Voice and Electoral College on AP News, quote, "I feel like the Electoral College gives a very fair perspective so that those who are in rural areas are able to have an equal voice with those who are in urban areas." This side believes that the representation of the population is actually a good thing because it protects people in rural areas from being overrun by people in cities. Next, calibration of votes. So the side that believes that the Electoral College does not remain effective believes that the vote should belong to the people, not the electors. Jason Brennan, who is a political scientist, said in a quote in the article, "The Electoral College is anti-democratic and that's a good thing." On the website MarketWatch said in reference to the electors, quote, "They, not the American people as a whole, choose the president." This side believes that it's not effective because not only does it not represent everybody, it doesn't give everybody a vote. On the other side of things, the people that believe the Electoral College still is effective, says that the votes aren't intended to belong to the people. This can be traced back to the start of our country when Alexander Hamilton wrote in Federalist Number 68, quote, "The electors will be most likely to possess the information and discernment requisite to such complicated investigations." To translate that to English, he's saying that the electors will be most likely to have knowledge and be educated on the topics of politics so they can make better judgments than the general population. They believe that since our country was not set up to directly elect a president, and so therefore it shouldn't change because that's how it was intended. So in our country, there are a lot of arguments over whether the Electoral College remains effective or not. One side believes that it's not effective because it does not represent everybody, and the calibration of the votes has it to where only a specific group of people elect the president, and they believe that's not a good thing. On the other side of things, people believe that it does remain effective because it helps to represent not urban areas, rural areas, and it calibrates the vote so that those who are more educated about the topics of politics will be able to vote. So, hopefully you can learn something about the Electoral College today or the arguments surrounding it. So then in the future we may have civil discussions about it rather than spats on social media. Finished probably 4